All right, let's talk about behavior B6. It's a really important part of your market research apprenticeship, but it can feel a little vague. So we're going to break it all down by following the story of an apprentice, Jody, as she goes from confused to confident. Let's dive in. So, have you ever looked at your apprenticeship standards and just thought, what does that even mean? If so, you are definitely not alone. Our apprentice, Jody, who works at IBIS stores, was in the exact same boat. She could read the words takes responsibility, but she had no idea how that connected to her day-to-day job.
Okay, so here's the official definition from the standard. It's all about owning your tasks, being proactive, and managing your time and workload. Sounds simple enough on paper, doesn't it? But for Jody, figuring out how to actually do this, and more importantly, how to prove she was doing it, felt like a massive challenge.
So here's our game plan. We're going to follow Jody through 4 key stages. First, we'll look at the B6 challenge itself. Then, how she learned to become a project captain. After that, we'll see how she logged her journey, and finally, how she aced her final review. This is your roadmap. Let's start with that first big hurdle, right? How do you take this vague idea from the standard and turn it into something you can actually do? Well, this is where JD's manager, Riddle, steps in with a piece of advice that honestly changes everything. And there it is, the project captain. This is the breakthrough moment for Jody. Suddenly, it wasn't about just ticking off boxes. It was about taking command. It's a total mindset shift, moving from just following orders to actually leading the way. And that right there is what your assessors and your employers are truly looking for. Okay, so project captain sounds great, but what does it actually look like when you're at your desk on a Tuesday morning? With a little help from her mentor, Adam, Jody started to break this big idea down into real everyday actions. First thing, a captain takes responsibility. They own their ship, right? For Jody, this meant owning her research tasks from the moment she got them to the moment she delivered them. It's about caring about the quality of the data, and this is key, knowing when to flag a problem. Not to pass the blame, but to protect the project. Doing this builds massive trust and shows you don't need constant supervision. Next up, initiative. A project captain doesn't just sit around waiting for orders. They're always looking ahead, scanning the horizon for what needs to be done next. They spot potential icebergs, risks or gaps in the project long before they become a problem. And they don't just point them out, they show up with ideas for how to solve them. Now, this slide here really lays it all out. It's the difference between being reactive and being proactive. Are you the person asking, what should I do next? Or are you the one saying, okay, that's done, and I think our next move should be this? A project captain lives and breathes on the right side of this chart. It's about leading, not just waiting. And finally, a captain is organized. You can't steer a ship without a map and a compass. For Jody, it boiled down to this really simple 4-step system. 1, plan your journey. 2, manage your tools and your time. 3, monitor your progress. And 4, report back clearly to everyone who needs to know. Plan, manage, monitor, report. That's it. Okay, so Jody is now thinking and acting like a full-on project captain. Awesome. But we all know the #1 rule of apprenticeships, right? If it's not logged in AP10, it basically didn't happen. This is where her coach, Olivia, comes in to show her how to turn all these great new habits into solid evidence. Think of this list as your evidence toolkit. Olivia showed Jody that things like project plans, the actual report she finished on time, even just an email from her manager saying, great job, all of that is perfect evidence. But the real gold, the piece that ties everything together, is the story you tell in your own reflective accounts. And this right here, this is the secret sauce from Olivia. Your reflection isn't just a diary, it's a case study, and you're the hero. You have to answer these 4 questions. What did you take responsibility for? What initiative did you show? How did you organize it? And this is the most important part, what was the impact? What happened because you did that thing? Answering that turns a simple task into powerful, undeniable proof. We are in the home stretch now. Jody's got the mindset down, she's logging fantastic evidence. Now it's time for the final boss, the endpoint assessment, and specifically, that professional discussion. So the assessor might lean forward and ask you something exactly like this. This isn't a trick question, it's an open invitation for you to tell one of your project captain stories. So, how does Jody handle it? And boom, look at that. It's a perfect answer using the STAR method. Situation, task, action, result. She doesn't just say, I'm proactive. She tells a mini story about a real problem she spotted, what she did about it, and the brilliant result it had. That is exactly what the assessors want to hear. Here's another classic question they love to ask, this time hitting that organized part of B6. It's Jodi's chance to show them her system. Just perfect. She names a specific tool, a digital task board, so it's concrete. She explains her process clearly, and then she gives a real-world example of how that process saved the day and helped her deliver on time. She's not just telling them she's organized, she's showing them. And that's the story of Jodi's transformation. What started out as just some confusing words on a standard has become a core part of how she works. It's not a box to tick anymore, it's a professional mindset. She's not just an apprentice doing tasks, she's a project captain, ready for whatever comes next. So what are the big takeaways for you? It's simple, really. Start thinking like a project captain. Own your work from beginning to end. Look for ways to act proactively, and get really good at turning those actions into compelling stories for your logbook. Oh, and practice telling those stories out loud before your EPA. So, I'll leave you with this question. Don't worry about mastering the entire B6 behavior overnight. Just think about this. What is the very first, small step you can take this week to be the captain of just one task? Because that small step, that's where this whole journey really begins.